That was fascinating to me. I know my three children. I spend a lot of time with my children and I love them deeply, but I did not know how they were going to answer these questions. I had no idea. And they all surprised me. They don't, on the outside, look like what they report on the inside. Okay, update on my well-being tracker idea. I sent a couple of polls out on LinkedIn to give an idea of what the questions looked like, but I'm going to read the questions to start out. I think the trust between employee and supervisor is critically important here. I think all spaces should be safe, especially at work, but definitely at home too. I think kids should be unconditionally loved, unconditionally liked, and it should be safe for them to be them. So the questions, though, that I asked the kids, I asked them questions every day around the same time of day for several weeks in a row. So this was like 3 weeks. The benefit to that was it became routine. They became good at evaluating the questions. They became comfortable with the questions. And it gave us the ability to do averages over time. And so the first question was, I felt good and cheerful today. And then the scale was 1 to 5. 5 would be, I felt good and cheerful all day. 4 would be, I felt good and cheerful most of the day. And 3 would be, I felt good and cheerful more than half the day. And then 2, less than half. 1, a little bit of the day. And then 0, none of the day. Did not feel good and cheerful at all. And so each one is the exact same scale. What percentage of your day would you say you felt these things? So it's self-reported. And so I'll give mine first. And then I'll give my kids as well to kind of give a sense of what they were. The first one, I felt good and cheerful on average over time, was 1.6. So I rated myself as some of the day, a little bit of the day, I felt good and cheerful. So contrast that to my oldest daughter. Hers was a 4.6. She, on average, goes through every day feeling good and cheerful the whole day. And that was fascinating to me. I know my three children. I spend a lot of time with my children and I love them deeply, but I did not know how they were going to answer these questions. I had no idea. And they all surprised me. They don't, on the outside, look like what they report on the inside. So my oldest, she's got lots of opinions. She's first to tell me she's not happy. She'll frequently tell me she's not happy about something, but her reflection of her day is that she was happy all day. And so I think that's an interesting, that was just really interesting for me. My youngest, on the other hand, appears to me to be happy all the time. And she reported 3 on good, feeling good and cheerful. So she said more than half the time she feels good and cheerful, but I would have guessed those 2 kids would be the opposite. So what she said on the outside was different than what she reflected on the inside when she actually answered these questions. And then my son was at 2.5. And then, of course, it's humbling to see how low I rated myself. Didn't really think that I would do that, but that's a different matter. The second question that we asked was, I felt calm and relaxed today. So my answer was 3. I feel calm and relaxed most days, more than half the time on average. My daughter, who's very positive, she said similarly, but even a little higher than me, 3.5. My son, 3.5. The next born, same as her. And then my daughter, the same, 3.5. So all of them were roughly the same on that one. So maybe that question is not as interesting as the others. I don't know, in my family. So then the next question was, I feel active and vigorous today. I had good energy, I guess. It would be another way to put it. But I said 2. So less than half the time I felt active and vigorous. My daughter said 4.5, super high, most of the day. My son said 2.5, right around half of the day he felt active and vigorous. And my daughter, who always looks like she's engaged, alert, aware, she rated 1.6. Rarely does she actually feel active and vigorous, which I thought was fascinating. So the next question, today I felt fresh and rested. Fresh and rested. I rated 3.4. So I typically feel fresh and rested most days, more than half the time. And my numbers were lower than most people's, but in my family's. But that was one of my higher ones. I feel fresh and rested. My daughter, 4.9. She feels fresh and rested every day. The one that has high numbers on everything. My son, 3.5. Feels fresh and rested more than half the time. And then the youngest feels fresh and rested 4.2. So the one that that I always think of as cheerful and happy and positive, she feels fresh and rested most of the day, every day. So that was it. That was as I would have expected it. And then the last question was I was interested in the things I did today. I had a lot of interest in what I was doing. And I rated that 1.7. I'm only interested in the things that I'm doing part of the time. A small part, less than half of the time. My daughter, 4.8, the positive. The one that I didn't think was as positive, 4.8. Every day, all day, she's interested in what she's doing, which was, I was jealous. My son, 2.75. So somewhere a little bit around the halfway mark again on that one. And then the youngest, 2.6. So less than half the time she feels interested in what she's doing. Again, that one was interesting to me because she appears to be interested and engaged with her siblings and her friends all the time. Always appears to be interested. So on the outside, she looks very interested and engaged. On the inside, she's actually not interested and engaged half the time or more than half the time. Key takeaways would be, I think it's worth establishing a baseline like that. If nothing else, if you never use the questions like that again, establishing a baseline was massively helpful to me. I think it was really interesting, and I may do this again with my own kids later in life, but I think as a team, for you to know as a manager what your baseline for your employees is would be really important. Now, if this is tied to a performance evaluation, a promotion, other things, and if this information has potential to be used negatively towards an employee, it's clear to me that they're going to fill this out the way they would with anything else in one of those ACR evaluations. They're going to fill it out in the way that benefits them the best. And so creating a safe enough space to get real answers is a good idea. But even still, I think you might find, even if everyone tries to rate it highly so that they can look better, I think there will still be nuance within that, where you're going to see certain people on the team that are wired a certain way and people that are wired a different way. I think it's worth establishing a baseline. A couple weeks, everybody fills the thing out. If assuming it's legal, I'm not an HR professional and I'm not a lawyer. Assuming it's legal, I think establishing a baseline for everyone on your team with questions, with these questions or questions like these, would be really helpful, really interesting. It is for me, for myself. I've been surprised at how I would answer these questions for myself. I like to explore these new ideas. It's fun for me. I like to wonder, and I like to try to explore those ideas as well. But I'm not the expert that figures it out. I think my gift is more in wondering about it in the first place. So I offer that to you. I hope it's helpful to you today. Thanks for watching.